This is a preview of a film of the 1993 British Enduro Championship Series. 6 rounds this year, with the first round the Breckland Enduro held in the Thetford Forest. Always a very popular event, nearly 300 riders taking part, 40 in the championship class, 80 experts and 150 clubman riders. Not a hill in sight, no boggy sections anywhere, but ask any one of these riders and they'll tell you it's a very tough, tiring event. The first lap of the course not too bad, but then the time checks get tighter and only the very best riders manage to go clean on the going. There are 1 or 2 small obstacles on the course that manage to catch out a few of the riders. These are 3 experts. This is 2 long days for everyone, and it might be too much for some of the clubman riders. The championship riders are doing about 6 hours each day. And for those who were clean on the going, it was all down to test times. Round 2 of the series, the Phoenix Dragon Enduro, held near Aldershot and organised by the Army MCA. This was a new venue for a championship round. The Army usually put on the Natterjack Enduro, so the track was new to everyone. A lot of it was dry, sandy going, similar to the Breckland, and there was an Army presence everywhere. They were manning the time checks. Most of the riders were clean on the going, so the results were sorted out on test times. There were 4 tests each day. Well, 4 tests for the championship riders, but 3 each day for the experts. Most of the going was reasonably good, but there were 1 or 2 wet places. Matt Lewis in the clubman class, he struggled a little bit, but went on to win both of the days. Steve Griffiths from Cardiff was getting some practice in for the next 4 rounds. They were all in Wales. There were soldiers everywhere, and some of them were even riding the event. They were on Armstrong 500s. It was tough going in places for some of the riders. Even some of the championship riders make the odd mistake. And for Ian Groves, it was only a few yards from the end of the test. The first 2 rounds in England, the next 4 rounds back in Wales, where conditions could be very different. The first round in Wales, the Iscar Enduro, organised by the Carlion and District Motorsports Club and held in the Breckland Forest. This round a little different to the Breckland. There are now hills and boggy sections. It was fine and sunny on the first day, but quite a lot of water in places. There were 55 expert riders here. A good turnout in the clubman class, just over 100 riders. Some of the tracks in the Breckland Forest were quite narrow. Mark Davis stuck on a hill climb and now going well in reverse. There were a few tree stumps in places that not everyone saw. Quite a spectacular jump on the special test. Paul Edmondson the first one through. And brother Derek wasn't far behind. He seemed to fall out of the trees. It was quite a long test, about 8 minutes. John Deacon had just passed a clubman rider. And then he missed to get round the corner. Most of the riders were clean on the going on this first day, so it was all down to test times. A lot of spectators enjoyed this muddy section. At the end of the day, most of the championship riders fitted new tyres, and Geraint had got this off to a fine art, and those new tyres would certainly be needed on day 2 because it started to rain and then it rained all day. This was a tricky little downhill section. But everyone got to the bottom some way or other. The jump on the special test was even better on this second day. Not a very good landing there. All the clubman riders lost time on this second day. 2 of the experts stayed clean and only 1 championship rider was clean. Just a change in the weather made all the difference to this event. Round 4 of the series, the Dyfi 2-day Enduro, organised by the Mid-Wales Trail Riders Association. Soon after the start, there was quite a difficult off-road section. Jonty Edmonds in the clubman class, he knew what to do. But for quite a few of the other riders, this section was a bit of a problem. Some people went down in the mud, but a little later on there were some nice water splashes where you could get washed off. The special test was on open going on the top of the hill, but it was very windy up here. It was good to watch here. It rained on day 2 and this made things a bit slippery in places. Although some of the going was tough in places, the time checks were fairly slack, so most people went clean over the 2 days. A.D. Smith was one of the unlucky championship riders who had a 1-minute penalty on the first day. For the rest of the championship class, the results were sorted out on test times. Just 2 weeks after the Dyfi, the Raider Enduro with a start at Abercwmbir. This was round 5 of the series. Paul Maguire didn't get off to a very good start and Bob Perrin wasn't very impressed. As usual, there was some tough going in the forest at this event. Just the right sort of conditions for Wyn Hughes. Philip Fallows was one of 50 riders in the experts. The special test was at Cymoeddig Hill using the big motocross circuit and some interesting going on the bottom field. This part of the test got more difficult as time went on. There were a lot of mistakes made on this test. It took Tony Hewitt a couple of minutes to get out of that rut. The local clubman rider Chris Price was on top form. And so was Matt Lewis. Fortunately, the weather was dry for both days. That made a big difference. On some of the forest roads, it was quite dusty. Most of the championship riders stayed clean. Paul Edmondson won all 3 tests on the first day, and then it all went wrong on the first test of day 2. The chain had come off. Paul was lost for words. But not for too long. Paul had to retire, so now the championship class was wide open. Only 7 of the experts went clean on day 1. Tim Lightfoot made a mistake on the test. By Sunday afternoon, quite a few of the riders were getting tired. Mike Rapley would be writing a report for TNMX, but would he mention this? Are you all right, Mike?
Oh, that's the last place I want to see you, isn't it?
The final round of the Championship Series, the Beacons Enduro, held in the Crachan Forest at the end of October. Like the other 3 rounds in Wales, it was a tough one. 6 rounds in this series, and the riders could drop their worst round. So who did win the championship? Was it Paul Edmondson? Well, he'd got everything to do after that bad weekend at Raider. Could it be Derek Edmondson? And there were several other championship riders in with a chance. This is only a preview, and if you want to find out who won the series, you need to watch the full film, which runs for 105 minutes. It covers the best of the action from all 6 of the championship rounds, and we see the clubmen, the experts and the championship riders. It's the 1993 British Enduro Championship Series, filmed by me, Frank Morgan. And a DVD of the film cost £15, and it's well worth seeing.